Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. So before the presentation, I will briefly read the introduction about the AfriScience Network. Then Dr. Ismail will read the citation of the presenter, and then the floor will be given to the presenter. My name is Dr. Yahya Bakariabo, one of the uh, admins of the AfriScience Network, and I will be reading the introduction about the network. The AfriScience Network aims to promote innovative and multidisciplinary scientific research and development in Africa by bringing together a community of academia and industry scholars and researchers who share similar goals. And our vibrant community consists of nearly 6,000 members spread across the different WhatsApp groups from A to G that are aimed for innovating and improving the quality of research and development output, increasing collaboration and research and researchers and developers, and providing among researchers and developers, and providing opportunities for knowledge sharing and capacity building. The network's missions are crucial given the challenges faced by African scientists and the potential impact of the scientific research and development on the continent's socio-economic development. With the right support and resources, the AfriScience Network has the potential to transform Africa's research and development landscape and position the continent as a global hub for scientific excellence. So with this brief introduction, I would like to invite Dr. Ismail Odetukun to read the citation of Professor Olusei Adeolu.
Yeah, thank you very much. Here is a citation of Professor Olugbenga Adeoluwa. Olugbenga O. Adeoluwa is a professor of soil fertility at the Department of Soil Resources Management, formerly Agronomy, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Professor Adeoluwa is an expert on organic agriculture and agroecology. Olugbenga is a registered soil scientist focusing on soil fertility at the Department of Soil Resources Management, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. He is the immediate past Deputy Director Crops of the Teaching and Research Farm, University of Ibadan. He has been an expert in organic agriculture since the year 2006. He has handled several national and international projects in the aspect of organic agriculture development, environmental impact assessment, and general agriculture. He is a certified organic inspector by the International Organic Inspectors Association since 2009. He has professional certificates in organic agriculture from Sweden with sponsorship from SIDA and Israel. And with sponsorship from SIDA and Israel, with sponsorship from the Mashav and World Trade Organization, Stroke International Trade Center. He is the continental coordinator of the Network of Organic Agriculture Researchers in Africa and a former council member of the Technology Innovation Platform of IFOAM Organics International. Olugbenga was the vice chair at the pilot phase of the Ecological Organic Agriculture Initiative, EOA, under the supervision of the African Union Commission in 2012, and a member of the Continental Steering Committee of the initiative with activities in 9 countries of Africa from 2013 to 2023. He is a member of the board of the African Organic Network, AfroNet, from 2012 to 2023. Among other national and international roles, he is currently the secretary of the West African Organic Network and a member of the board of trustees of the Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria. He is the country project coordinator of Ecological Organic Agriculture Initiative, ORAIN, in Nigeria since 2012, the coordinator of the Organic Agriculture and Innovation Platforms in Nigeria, and that of the Organic and Agroecology Initiative, a coalition of organic and agroecology organizations in Nigeria since 2022. He is also the national lead investigator of the EU-funded co-producing knowledge on sustainable growth through service learning pedagogy between Africa and Europe and European higher education institutions. Olugbenga has trained over 200 strategic people in the governmental and private sectors of Nigeria on organic agriculture and agroecology. He is also a practicing organic farmer. I hereby present to you Professor Olugbenga Adeoluwa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Well, I appreciate everyone on this platform, especially the AfriScience network leadership for the privilege given unto me to make this presentation. I must confess, that to me, it's a high-level task. And I pray, that I will be able to communicate this, to this diverse audience of scientists from different aspects of science. When we talk about organic agriculture, within the agricultural sector globally, this is one of the fastest developing components of the agricultural sector. Why is this so? Maybe as we go further in the presentation, you will understand this. The fast development of the sector notwithstanding, this aspect is also one, this organic agriculture is also one of the easily misconstrued aspects of agriculture. A few days ago, not up to 2 weeks, on a trip, I met an elderly professor in soil science, and we're discussing at the airport. We're discussing, and he said, yeah, that person is also organic, is working on organic matter. And you wonder, organic agriculture is highly misconstrued, even among professors in agriculture, because many times people take it to be what it is not. And this is one of the reasons that several opportunities within this sector, that should be explored, yet to be captured. Those that would have led to novel scientific innovations, the yet, to be captured. And this poor understanding of organic culture is actually the reason why this sector is poorly developed in Africa compared to other leading countries of the world. In my few years in the terrain of organic agriculture, actually I began in 2006, although my master's and PhD focused on some aspects of organic agriculture. But I must confess myself, my real understanding of organic culture did not even come from my involvement in it in 2005, 2006 here in Nigeria. But until I got to Tanzania to Dar es Salaam in 2007 during the launch of the East African Organic Standards. That was when I personally understood that there is more to organic agriculture than the organic fertilizer aspect that I dealt with in my master's and my PhD. And so, for appropriate scientific intervention, the understanding of this masquerade called organic agriculture is needed. This is how scientists can play their roles. Let's look at this recent document. This particular document was launched in February this year. FIBRE is it's the Research Institute on Organic Agriculture based in Switzerland, and annually FIBRE captures different aspects and components of organic agriculture globally, and they report through this their book named The World of Organic Agriculture. You will see from the presentation, as of 2022, there are 4.5 million organic farmers. 4.5 million organic farmers. And the worth of the organic produce globally as of 2022, because the data captures 2 years backward. 2 years backward. The data, that means 2024 will present what have been captured since 2022. The market value of organic agriculture as of 2002 was 138.8 billion euros. So you can see that it's not small. At all. So there's an aspect that I could have also shown. I don't know why it missed, because I was trying to also add a bit of data. Maybe during question and answer, I will show those graphs, how organic agriculture demand and business and activities has been growing exponentially for the past 10 years. It's been upgoing, not reducing. And if it's upgoing and not reducing globally, it shows demand is increasing on annual basis. And if demand is increasing on annual basis, and that's the basis for scientific intervention based on demand. As we speak, continentally, the production from Africa is one of the least, because Africa produces, just 3% of organic land in the world, compared to a country like Australia, a continent like Australia, which is so high, and in North America, South America, and Africa has been on, between 2% and 3% for almost 10 years now. And the question is why? In my survey and my exposure within the sector, the knowledge of what is called organic culture is still very low. It's still very, very low. And that's the reason why scientists that could provide solutions to upscale organic agriculture in Africa may not be able to come up with the appropriate interventions, Because in as much as the sector is not properly understood, then how would the scientists be able to provide solutions? Before I go into some of the challenges, we look at part of the history. I'm sorry, I tried to bring this because I know that we are, many of us, we are academics, we are researchers, and we need a bit of background information. So please pardon me, but I have to bring this a bit. It's a bit of this that I had to remove some components, which are presented verbally, especially on the growth of organic sector in Africa. I mean, at the global level. The early history of organic agriculture globally started without governmental oversight. It was mainly among the locals, small scale. And at that point in time, what farmers would say that, well, what I'm doing is organic. I'm working on what is safe for the people, and people will believe them. And at times, at the beginning, people also worked on information that they have acquired from other farmers as, guides for their production. As well as the Rural Institute, which was the first institute of organic agriculture on the global space. At that time, there was no premium for organic agriculture. There was no organic market. In the 1960s, issues were raised in the country like the US as to promotion of organic agriculture. People began to notice pesticide hazards contribute, affecting the health of people and animals. They noticed decline in soil health, water pollution, synthetic inputs increasing in price, and loss of family farms and local markets, which many countries today are, experiencing. This is the renowned Rodel, J.I. Rodel, who was inspired by, a movement in Europe when people began to lay concern regarding safe production, safe food. He was the one that introduced organic farming concept in the US, and he founded the Rural Institute, which is still influential till today. That's where we have, the oldest experimental plots for organic agriculture till today. This man was a great scientist. So we can say when it comes to organic farming, the root was actually in Europe between 1920s and 1950s. Of course, it faced a lot of opposition from industrial agriculture. Most times based on interest, and then I would say interest and interest. But organic agriculture laid emphasis much more on health of the soil, as to producing healthy food. I'll talk briefly about definitions of organic agriculture so that it can help us as scientists to see what we are talking about or proper understanding. So I have chosen, unlike many trainings that I handled in this dimension, but in this time, I try to also go by reason or current scientific innovations. I just checked on AI, through AI, what is this organic agriculture? And you see, even with AI, they present it as organic agriculture refers to farming practices that avoid the use of synthetic fertilizers, pesticide, genetically modified organisms, GMOs, and other harmful chemicals Instead, organic farming relies on natural methods to improve soil health, to control pests and diseases, promote biodiversity, enhance ecosystem services. And that is organic agriculture, in the global space as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. But we go to more institutional definitions. And when I mean this definition, we are talking about not just in writing, but the guides for the practices of the system. So I start with the one by IFOAM Organics International, which is the umbrella body for organic agriculture practitioners at the global level. It states that organic agriculture is a holistic production management system which enhances agroecosystem health, utilizing both traditional and scientific knowledge. That organic agricultural system relies on ecosystem management rather than external agricultural input. You will see, this is not talking about fertilizer, organic fertilizer, because to many, organic is about applying organic fertilizer, which was also my thoughts until I got exposed to the nitty-gritty of organic agriculture, much more after my PhD. That's why the fact that I had my MSc and PhD research in organic fertilizer issues, that I thought that was all about organic agriculture. So you see here, there's more to organic agriculture than just planting or raising animals. So we're talking about utilization of both traditional and scientific knowledge. So which means when you are talking about organic agriculture, you cannot separate this from scientific interventions or innovations. Briefly, I present the definition. Briefly, I present scientific the definition from Codex Alimentarius, which is the FAO definition. FAO is the global body overseeing agricultural activities of the government all over the world. And according to FAO, organic agriculture is a holistic production management system which promotes and enhances agro-ecosystem health, including biodiversity, biological cycles, soil biological activities. It emphasizes the use of management practices in preference to the use of all farm inputs, taking into account that regional conditions require locally adapted systems. So which means if you're talking about development of the organic sector in Africa, the scientists in Africa that understand the terrain in Africa have a lot of roles to play in the development. So according to FAO, as far as is possible, in addressing organic agriculture, it would rely on agronomic, biological, and mechanical methods as opposed to using synthetic materials. So you can see the range of scientists that are needed in this, including engineering. This is just for us to see the issue of the definition from the perspective of the EU, European Union. I'm not going to go through all this, but I'll just lay emphasis on the inclusion, because each different nationals, different regions, at times they come up with their own definitions, which guide the practices and their policies. You will see a major contribution to issue in organic system is the issue of animal welfare. And animal scientists on this platform they understand better that when you have animals raised with proper welfare, the meat quality is good, is better than the one raised without the proper welfare. So And moreover here, you also see that according to EU here, that organic production method plays a dual societal role, where in on hand provides for specific market responding to a consumer demand for organic product. On the other hand, delivers public goods contributing to the protection of the environment and animal welfare. So goes beyond just the farmer's plot. The protection of the environment is also important. And these are areas in Africa that we seldom take care of because there are no scientific publications or in empirical data. So make people, to be aware that if you do contrary to this, this is what you get. And these are the likely implications of the unwholesome practices in this dimension. Let me go over this, the US SDA definition, which is not very different from the previous ones. Organic culture has 4 principles: the principle of health, the principle of ecology, the principle of fairness, and principle of care. And within these principles, almost every aspect of sciences, whether core sciences, whether social sciences, or applied, have rules to play. Under the principle of health, organic culture stipulates that for anyone involved in organic culture, the production should be practiced in a way to sustain and enhance the health of soil, plant, animal, and human as one and indivisible. And for those of us African, you will understand the way we handle our plants, the way we handle our soils, the way we handle our animals. Not to talk about the end users, humans. We seldom consider the issue of health as that, because we tend to approach these differently. And that's the reason why the issue of One Health approach came in, that you cannot address the health issues relating to one component and leave the others. That whether soil, whether plants, whether animal, whether human, and the general environments, the issue of health, is interwoven. So this is the area where you see that almost every scientist has a role to play. Whatever you do in organic culture, it must address and ensure, health of the environment, the soil, of the plants, of the animal, and humans. And this is one of the reasons that organic agriculture practices or produce is demand for this is increasing globally, astronomically, since for the past almost 15 years, it has not come down. It's progressively increasing because more and more people are getting, having the awareness of healthy food production. The second is ecological principle. Ecological principle, which stipulates that organic culture should be based on and work with the living ecological systems and cycles. Instead of disrupting this, it should rather emulate them and help to sustain. And for those of us scientists that we are into modeling, we're into forecasting, a good opportunity for innovations. And these are areas still lacking as far as Africa is concerned. We are trying to address climate change issues, and then these gamut of opportunities there that we are not exploring yet. The next is the principle of fairness, which stipulates that organic culture should be built upon relationships that ensure fairness with regards to the common environment and life opportunities. Most times, many of us, we want good food, good crops, good animal products, and then we want to cheat the farmers. We don't want to pay for the service, for extra effort. And what we get at the end is what we don't bargain. Also, we also don't want farmers to cheat us. So it must be a win-win thing. In organic agriculture, we lay emphasis on fairness. Farmers must produce, quality food for the people and not exploiting their customers or consumers. Whereas the consumers also should also play their roles by encouraging the farmers, and that's where the issue of premium prices come in. Not for all crops, but for those that will need extra effort to deliver what the consumers need. Just like today, we know courses that demand extra effort to get a certificate, we know that they are highly priced. What about the principle of care, which say that organic agriculture should be managed in a precautionary and responsible manner to protect the health and well-being of the current and future generations and the environment? You see that an average organic farmer is a watchdog of the health of people and well-being, not just of the current generation, but the future generation. And that is it. Organic farmers must care for the crop, must care for the land, it must care for the environment. And that is the core, these are the core values of the organic system. So when it comes to organic, we also need to understand that organic agriculture is not just about the raising of crops or raising of animals. No. Organic agriculture has five basic components. The first is the issue of the standard. If you are an organic farmer, you are producing something organic, you must be able to show which standard are you following. In the conventional farming, people farm anyhow without a reference to a specific guide that anybody can use to measure their sincerity and the quality of what they are producing. So beginning point in organic agriculture is a standard, the organic standard, because that's what stipulates what an organic farmer can do, what the organic farmer cannot do. And every organic farmer must agree with this before the person can be called organic farmer. That is the way it works. The second is quality control and certification. Because part of the principle of fairness is that organic farmers must abide with organic standards. Organic farmers must not cheat, must not compromise the quality. And organic farmers must subject themselves to quality control and certification of their production. And this at times also attracts costs depending on the level of certification. If it's just among farmers, you call second party, like PGS, may not be that expensive. The farmers themselves, they levy themselves based on the costs they could incur by moving from one farm to the other. But if it's third-party certification, it depends on the country, it depends on the location, it could be very expensive. And these are the things that build up into the business aspects of the products. That somebody could say, in a particular country, organic product is very expensive. It is this. It's like, saying that Harvard is very expensive. Labels comes in organic agriculture, and that is what we use to identify what is organic, what is not organic. And then when it comes to the issue of markets, you don't just go anywhere to our common market and say that you're looking for organic, except for supermarkets, where they handle products and they are careful in their quality control systems and handling. Organic markets are usually niche markets to control the quality so that the adulteration is avoided. Then accreditation. The system is accredited. Those in charge of certification, they also subject themselves to those that test and oversee their capability periodically. So that's organic for you. These are common organic labels. You can see here, when you see these on the it's a standing for the quality that you see there that truly is organic, and you can take them, and you can, the stamps, to confirm. That's it. Now, organic and traditional, any difference? Because to some of us, organic is like farming the way our forefathers farmed. It's going back to, going backward. No, remember that in the definition of organic by IFAM, you see that it's a combination of scientific and traditional. Remember that the forefathers of organic, I'm talking about the modern organic system, they're actually scientists by themselves, renowned scientists. Someone like Rodale, till today, Rodale is still very relevant in agronomic science and environmental science. So, organic agriculture, is it the same as traditional farming? It's not. Traditional farming today, we know that, what is the common thing between the traditional and organic farming? Traditional farming may not involve use of chemicals, insecticide, fungicide, etc. Most times, they may not involve the use of genetically modified organisms or plants or animals. They use manure, but we know today that our traditional farming does not have any system in place to prevent the use of this. We know there's no system in place to prevent this. When we talking about organic culture, we're talking about the use, what is specific to organic farming today. We're talking about the use of microbial preparations to enhance the fertility, or to build the fertility of the soil, to build the health of the soil, to improve yield. Even today, we have a lot of microbial preparations that help the plant or animals to fight against diseases, to resist diseases. And their response to, input. Organic will use high-yielding varieties, including disease-resistant breeds. So breeders on this platform, you're good to go. Organic culture involves introduction of efficient green manures, cover crops, nitrogen-fixing trees, etc. Those into botany, environmental science, etc., agronomy, soil scientists, etc. Opportunities in use of improved tools for soil cultivation within soil into mechanization, not just agricultural mechanization, general mechanization. General engineering. Remember, I started the definition from the perspective of IT, or AI rather, from the perspective of AI. So, application of improved compost method and biofertilizers. And biofertilizer today, it's a lot of investment. You're talking about, I can't, maybe about up to about 100 million, or I don't know. But a lot of the capital involved in this business today is high, because you have results on daily basis confirming efficacy of this over, the synthetic or chemical inputs. The benefits of organic agriculture, straightforward: environmental protection, improved human health, animal welfare, enhanced food quality and safety, support local economics. It promotes sustainable livelihoods, helps to mitigate climate change, and helps to improve our soil, to conserve the soil, not just for our own generation, but also for the future generation. Now, I come to areas that we scientists should be interested in, the areas that need scientific intervention. A few years ago, that was in 2021, we conducted a survey among stakeholders of organic agriculture and agroecology in Africa. And these are the areas, according to the ratings. According to the ratings, which there are issues that scientists could address. Majority of the stakeholders complain about development of organic inputs, whether pesticide, whether herbicide, whether fertilizers, whether that's in Africa, it has to be developed. And who will do this if not scientists? And this, includes all areas of sciences. All areas of sciences. Second level is information awareness on organic and agroecological ecological agriculture. The awareness is low. The benefits huge, but the awareness is low. So many of us in Africa, everything goes. Whatever we eat, and African mentality is that whatever cannot kill you in a day, maybe will never kill you. Not knowing that organs of the body, medicine on this platform, we agree with me. The restoration of bad organs in the body may not easily, be addressed. And that is the reason why organic really emphasizes on prevention, preventive issues rather than curative. So ICT, those in the ICT and related social issues have to raise their awareness. Fund for production. Those of us in social and economic sciences, what about that? That's an opportunity. How can these stakeholders, why will they not be able to access funding for their production? Are there opportunities? The same with organic market access. And that's the strength of social and economic sciences. Proper pest and disease management, entomology, botany, microbiology, etc. Those into environment protection. The stakeholders also raise issue regarding adequate training. All areas of sciences will have to address this, because every scientist has something to deliver when it comes to healthy food production, which finds a place in the organic agriculture. What about advocacy on organic agriculture? It's still the same, very close to the first one we mentioned. Those into ICT, and today, the common requirement for scientists is that you must be, ICT compliant. So, which is this one still, brings in all, scientists on the platform. Modern equipment for large-scale farming, because many people believe that organic agriculture you can only do small, you can only do little, maybe 1 hectare, because everything has to be done manually. It is not true. Organic agriculture can engage large equipment for farming. Last year, they had the opportunity of visiting organic farmers in China. And one of us that came from a scientist from the US said, if somebody had told you that it was possible to raise, to have a 100,000 heads of cattle in an organic farm, that he would think that it cannot be possible as a scientist. But he came there, he saw a farm with 100,000 cattle heads. And that is the impact of science in China, sustaining this and still fitting into organic standard. So what about governmental policies on organic and then ecological agriculture, because they're also related? All areas of sciences are involved, because appropriate policies should come from scientific, data, empirical data, to support why this is right, why this is not, and then so that policymakers can be well guided in taking the appropriate decisions. About affordability of organic inputs, which is still an issue that social and economic science, scientists can address? What are the various options? Social scientists can address that. Somebody may be looking at the very one that is very expensive. We read there could be other alternatives that social scientists and the economists can come on board and say, look at this. We have verified this. We have verified this. This is what you gain in doing this. This is what you lose in this. Check your net balance. Which one you want to go for? Cost of certification is also an issue that certification and the social and economic scientists should address. It is. So, research on organic agriculture, this is an issue of not just social and economics alone, it's general. Why is government not investing into this? Why we don't have companies investing into this? Social scientists can come up and do their research and find out what are the limitations, what will corporate organizations want to see or government want to see before they put their funding into this. The issue of technical personnel, which is the 11th, and extension agents, is still the issue. Or social and economic scientists. Why? We don't have enough. What about the issue of networking? The first one, networking among organic and other similar practitioners. Because in networking, you may discover that your own challenge is the strength of the other. You leverage, on the strength of others to address your own challenges. And then the issue of processing, storage, and value addition chain is also there. You have food scientists, and food science and technologies in nutrition, medicine, etc. They have a lot to contribute in this. And the last one is soil management for organic farming, which soil scientists and environmental, soil and environmental scientists should address. Just in a few minutes, as a roundoff, you wonder if all these challenges have been there in Africa. Is it that nobody has done or no team has done anything regarding this? It's not true. The Network for Organic Culture Researchers in Africa, NOARA, in a little while has been trying. The network is still not so old, it's still young, though it was inaugurated in 2012, but it was only in 2019 that the real activity started, when I was asked to lead, to coordinate the activities of the network, and then the container secretariat was brought to University of Ibadan. Today, NOARA has about 400 members, crossing across 30 countries in Africa, and then some countries outside Africa. The vision of NOARA is Africa with zero hunger, poverty eradicated, improved livelihood, and sustained ecosystem through innovative organic and ecological agricultural research. There are 4 thematic areas in NOARA: training, research and training, policy and then stakeholders engagement, conferences and information dissemination, networking, advocacy, and awards. Generally, NOARA carries out research activities and capacity building in organic agriculture and agriculture, as well as awareness of the benefits of the 2 agricultural systems in Africa. So I wouldn't bore us because I've given an overview of this. NOARA had its first African Organic Research Conference that University of Ibadan hosted. That was 2 years ago. And these are the major 6 points of research issues that conference came up with. The national government, through their agricultural research councils, should include organic agriculture and agroecology research into their activities. The Continental, Regional, and National Agricultural Research Institute in Africa should include organic agriculture and agricultural research into their activities. The producers should be supported with technologies and innovation to conserve indigenous seeds and to ensure sustainable conversion from conventional to organic agriculture. Development partners globally to consider supporting, the network of organic agricultural research in Africa, and other research bodies with similar focus to develop organic agriculture and agroecology research in Africa. and to also to put more effort in quality guarantee systems and agribusiness models supporting organic trade by the private sector and governmental and non-governmental organizations in Africa. And more research activities should address development of implements and equipment for organic agriculture and agroecology production, like solar irrigation facilities, etc., that could ease the production. In conclusion, it can be seen that there's a huge opportunity for scientists in Africa to address challenges of organic farming, so that these opportunities within the system, can be extended to the grassroots in Africa. And this cannot happen without appropriate win-win partnership and collaborations among scientists within their institutions, cross and collaborations, continental collaborations, and national collaborations. And NOARA, which is a network of organic cultural researchers in Africa, is willing, championing this aspect, to collaborate with others, to do this, especially with AfriScience team. I want to thank the AfriScience team leadership for the opportunity that's been granted to me to make this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Olugbenga. We may now proceed to question and answer session. Anyone with some questions will please raise their hands. Yeah, I can see the hands of Alagbo Oyebanji. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Prof, for this very enlightening presentation. I would say I learned something new, because I thought I knew what organic farming is, but I realized that there's another perspective to it that I learned today. Thank you so much, sir. My question is, if we want to join the NOARA, what are the requirements? And then how can someone engage with the NOARA? Thank you.
Yeah, we have another question. Maybe Prof can take all the questions later. Prince Odo, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is an interesting one, as those who know me very well know that I am for organic farming and not biotechnology, genetic engineering. The presenter said certain things that are quite interesting. I just mentioned 4 of them, but I will dwell on 2 alone. He spoke about training up to 200 people in strategic places, and they spoke about the misconstrued, the language being misconstrued, that there is more for organic than the organic fertilizer. And he spoke about the demands, he gave 5 things that are demanded, and he spoke about the interventions. Let me begin with the misconceptions or the language. Incidentally, in the one just had before this, that was my focus, because the presenter spoke about change of terminology. And as I tried to intervene there, the moderator stopped my intervention, which wasn't quite fair to me. I wasn't happy about that. Now, we need to understand language. If you don't understand language, you make a lot of mistakes. People in biotechnology use language strategically to deceive, to get people to agree with them and to go along with them. Such language as conventional farming is misleading. People don't understand why they use that word conventional. Genetically modified. What is modified? You know, so we need to understand the language. That is quite important. And researchers must begin to pay attention to language use, to deconstruct language, to interrogate language before you can go ahead and do what you want to do. You spoke about training about 200 people. Pardon me if I observe that I don't see enough to show me that that is being done, because in Nigeria today, we know how much aggression the people in biotechnology are applying and filling up the space. About 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks or so, they had 1 week of conference promoting biotechnology. Not one of them, as far as I know, spoke negatively about it. Not one, for all the papers I studied, not one of them. We need conferences like that. We need to be aggressive. We have the truth. Why are we hiding the truth? Or why are we reluctant to speak the truth? People who have the falsehood and are killing people, just as you rightly mentioned, some people think that food will kill only if it kills within 24 hours. That's a misconception concerning biotechnology, GM foods. That's not so. So we need to do more, and I urge you please to do more. I like to belong. We have more to do, and we need to do it aggressively. The other thing, I'll be brief. The other one about
thank
your
you very
demand.
much, Prince. Please,
No, just
we need to round up, please.
One last thing, please. When you mentioned the 5 demands, I didn't see you talk about safety studies. You spoke about standard quality control, labeling, accreditations, and I was expecting to see safety studies. I didn't hear you mention that. That is the thing, really. That is where the intervention is required. Safety. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then one last question from Aliyu Soyingbe. Please go ahead, Aliyu.
Okay, thank you so much, AfriScience, and to our presenter, Dr. Adeoluwa. I'm just a newcomer when it comes to organic agriculture, but I see a common feature between genetically modified organic plants or animals, as well as organic farming, that is increase in yield. So what is that thin line between these methods of agriculture to guarantee safety? Thank you, sir.
Okay, Prof, please, you may go ahead to answer the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I will start from the perspective of. Let me start from the first one: how to join NOARA. NOARA's website at www.noara.bio. That is the website of NOARA. You know, I will put it in the, if I have the permission of the organizers, I may put it here. So it is there on the membership platform. Thank you very much. You know, so it will be there. You get the link, and I think the NOARA office, please, you can do that on my behalf. The secretariat should do that. I'll put it in the chat. And the second one is we need more awareness that maybe organic is not doing training 200 people is not sufficient. Yes, is agreed. You know, and then the 200 we mentioned here, actually not 200 in whole, strategic leadership. Now you have Ministry of Agriculture addressing organic. You have NAFDAC addressing organic. We have Standard Organization of Nigeria addressing. We have quarantine. We have News Agency of Nigeria. These are and many Ministry of Education, Health and Science. Those are core people that I have been focusing on in terms, because when the policymakers don't have the right orientation, they are the one that will spoil all our efforts. So, and then in terms of secondary level of training, they will run over 1,000, that are participated in training. That a very good one 2 years ago was the National Orientation Agency of Nigeria, training their leadership, to downscale this to the grassroots. So we are trying, but reality there is that it's still far away. And that's why we need more scientists that have the facts to join, in this. We have not I have not been here to say that, no, we are doing it or no. It's because the gap is still much. That's the reason why, we are coming on board here, to say what other scientists can do. Now, the thin line between GMO and organic, you will see that even with the search with AI, I don't go with the definition of this, but I know that we are, IT savvy on this platform. We are current scientists, and that's why I went by reason of AI, which anybody can check. Anybody can check. That you see, even in here, I captured it, that GMO is no in organic. Why? Because the principle of fairness. Whatever people feel, that people felt that a transgender issue, it's just like you have transgender in human, you also have in animals. And people feel that the transgender issue in in plants, they wouldn't want to, because they are not sure that we scientists, we have sufficient data to say that, to prove long-term data. I'm not talking about data of 10 years, 20 years or 30 years to prove that there wouldn't be, that their life is safe. As I speak, there is none. And you remember that an average organic practitioner is a dog watch over lives of people, the current and the future generation. And that's the reason why you see the alarm being blown. Yes, and in organic, you can use high-yielding varieties, which are developed by reason of what the plant breeders call it conventional breeding method, which means natural breeding methods. You have not brought in genes from animals and you have not inserted such into plant genes. You have not, because nobody knows what could be the recombinant effect of this. So that is it. So it's also possible to achieve high yielding by natural breeding methods, including biotechnology. Biotechnology is also, it's all about technology. Is not the same. It's not just the same as GM. No, we have aspect of positive biotechnologies in other endeavors that are not necessarily genetic modification. So in organic, we lay emphasis on scientific input, scientific innovations that have been found, proven to be safe for human, to be safe for the environment, to be safe, and then that is, what organic supports. So organic embraces scientific, including biotechnological innovations that have been found to be safe. But transgender issue in plant or animal, organic agriculture globally stands against such. Thank you.
So I think all the questions have been answered, and no one is raising his or her hands. So with this, I would like to thank Professor Olugbenga Adeoluwa for this insightful presentation. And on behalf of the AfriScience Network and the coordinators of this network, we thank you immensely for your time and for this insightful presentation. I think this we have been discussing about GMOs and organic in the groups in WhatsApp for several weeks and months. And we have given a good platform for people to present their arguments. And these webinars also have given more insights to both sides of the divide, either GMOs or organic. So we hope to continue this discussion with more insightful presentations. And on behalf of the AfriScience Network and the coordinators, I thank everyone for joining this webinar, and see you in next month's webinar. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate the efforts. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.